I call the member for Mildura.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is for the Premier. Last week, Mildura lost a great man in Surgeon Kevin Chambers. In 2012, when the private management contract was first up for renegotiation, it was Kevin who alerted our community. If he had not, the contract would likely have been quietly renewed, keeping us locked in a failed and dangerous experiment. Kevin's courage in speaking up inspired others to do the same. His advocacy was absolutely pivotal. The day you announced we were getting our hospital back, few were as proud and elated as Kevin. This week's budget delivered more game-changing wins to our community. There was investment in schools, roads, public housing, tourism, sports infrastructure across Mildura, Robinvale, Merbein, Hopetoun, Sea Lake, Ouyen, Birchip and Wycheproof, and we are very grateful for that. But the thing that would have piqued Kevin's interest most was the Regional Hospital Infrastructure Fund. On behalf of Kevin, his family, his staff and the community that loved him, can you confirm whether Mildura-based hospital will be receiving money from that fund?
Call the Premier.
Thanks very much, Speaker, and I thank the independent member Phil Mildura for her question, but more importantly for her advocacy. She's a great champion for her community. And in contrast to others who've had the honour but never quite delivered for that community, she gets things done because she works very closely with ministers in my government, with agencies of the government, with her local community, those who support her, those who don't. She's all about getting things done. And it was a proud moment for her and for me to be able to announce and then deliver a public hospital for Mildura, a public hospital owned by every Victorian, not for profit but for patients. That's what we've delivered, and it should be a point of pride, if I might say, for the independent member for Mildura. She stuck to this. She campaigned on it and she's delivered it, and that is something that she should be very proud of. Now, I'm not sure whether I ever had the opportunity of meeting Kevin Chambers, but to his family, to his former patients, to those who worked alongside him, we honour his memory and the contribution that he made to the health service provision in the Sunraysia and in the North West more broadly. He's fondly remembered because of his commitment to the best care. Not the highest profits, but the best care. What I can say to the member for Mildura is that we will, just as we provided $1 million for the service planning work, which as I understand it is not yet concluded, we will look very closely at any application that the Mildura Public Hospital makes to the Regional Health Infrastructure Fund, now up to about $470 million worth of investment, largely in much smaller projects that perhaps would never have been funded. We'll look upon any application that is lodged by the Mildura Public Hospital. We'll consider it carefully. But I would just say we've got to get the service planning right. Exactly what scope of practice will there be? What services will be offered? How do we best connect those to the rest of the public hospital network across regional Victoria and indeed across our state? As soon as that service planning is done, I think Mildura Hospital is well placed to come forward with a high quality bid for additional support for whatever expansion or enhancement or refinement they may seek to make to the range of services and the number of services that are offered based on the needs of that community, but also based on what services can safely be delivered at the Mildura Public Hospital. So I suppose I can't commit, but I can certainly say to the independent member Phil Mildura, we are committed to properly considering in detail any application that comes forward from the Mildura Public Hospital for funding under the Regional Health Infrastructure Fund.
Supplementary question, the member for Mildura.
Thank you, Speaker. My supplementary question is also for the Premier. The operating theatres at Mildura-based public hospital are widely known to be inadequate and in major need of significant upgrades. What reassurance can you give that the government is aware of this and will make Mildura-based public hospital a priority in this funding round?
Call the Premier.
Thank you, Speaker, and I thank the independent member for Mildura for her supplementary question. I suppose I'd say that the $1 million we've provided for service planning is proof positive that we know and understand that not everything is as good as it can be. Despite the fact that it's now a publicly owned hospital for patients rather than profit, it can be better, it can offer more services, it can be more responsive to the needs of people in the North West, people in the Mildura and Sunraysia district. I don't want to see people having to travel away from the community they've helped to build to get the care, if that care can safely be provided locally. That $1 million service plan funding is proof positive of our commitment. What's more, $8.86 million from the RIF, the Regional Health Infrastructure Fund, for an 8-bed intensive care unit, an 8-bed bed paediatric ward and replacement of operating theatre equipment, that's already been granted. That's proof positive that Mildura Public Hospital is on the government's radar, because every hospital is on the government's radar. We will stand with every regional community, including Mildura.